Hello, Aries and Aries rising people. It's time to have the first of my attempt at bi-weekly forecasts. And so I wanted to let you know how this is going to go first. So a lot of people were kind of curious, like, what does this mean? Oh my God. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm doing tarot, oracle, and astrology at the same time, 2 weeks at a time, instead of weekly tarot and then monthly astrology. So the way this is going to work is basically I'm going to do astrology first, then we're going to move into the cards, okay? So it kind of works for everyone depending on what you resonate with. You know, do you resonate with astrology? Great, watch the astrology, and then you don't have to read the cards. If you prefer the cards, skip the astrology and go straight to the cards. I do also want to remind everyone, I have fixed the website up. There was an issue somebody brought to my attention. For those of you who are, instead of clicking the links, or just typing in the website, some people have been like Google searching, but it's been taking, you know, especially if you're using a phone like an iPhone, it's taking you to an older version of the website that's not updated. That's all fixed now, so if you've been having a hard time getting readings or, you know, or anything like that, all fixed, all fixed. So let's get started here. What's happening the first of these 2 weeks? So let's do astrology first. Let's jump right in. So from the week of the 5th through the 11th of September, 11th is my birthday, we've got a lot of really good news coming for you in terms of love, Aries. Jupiter is moving into your 7th house of partnerships at the end of the week on the 9th, and it's going to stay there all the way up until October 2017. And wherever Jupiter goes, it tends to expand. It tends to put things on steroids, so to speak. So ideas or agendas you may have had with your partner are going to be getting bigger at this point in time. Maybe the two of you were planning on moving in together, and the first thing you wanted to do was rent an apartment. Well, now we're going to buy a house. Or maybe we're going to talk about getting engaged or possibly married over the next year. Jupiter in the 7th house is also going to bring a lot of money into partnerships or financially profitable partnerships your way over the next year. You know, whether it's a business partnership, a business alliance, a roommate alliance, this is going to actually prove to be something that pays off quite well. One of the things I like about Jupiter in the 7th house is that usually things tend to stick, okay? So even if you're single and looking and you're maybe just looking for long-term or marriage material, this begins the year where that starts to germinate for you. Also, however, we do have, around the same time, Saturn forming his last square to Neptune, which is going to be between your 9th house of higher learning, your expansion, cultural expansion, international activity, school, and your 12th house, your past, the things you keep hidden, the things you keep secret. And this can bring up some cognitive dissonance about how you feel you are or are not flexible enough with your education, with your spiritual practice, if you have a spiritual practice. It's going to test how open-minded you are and how much mileage you allow yourself to get out of the exposure, experience, and education, whether it's formal or informal, in the world. You may be finding that this is a great square because it's actually showing you where you are qualified or more available to something than you know, that you've been turning down, or maybe you've been turning yourself down for. But at the same time, it may also stretch you a little bit in a way that might make you feel uncomfortable, breaking out of a mental rut. Sometimes, you know, we try to control our environments a little bit when it comes to spirituality and when it comes to our education. But we may actually need more, or we may have more already than we think, and that may give us some leverage to use in other areas of our life, in particular with these ones, family or business. On the next week, the 12th to the 18th, we have Mercury, currently retrograde. Remember, now with Mercury retrograde all the way up until the 21st of the month, you know, we're not going to be seeing a lot of consistency in our schedule. Okay, it's in your house of routines and daily work. So we may be noticing our schedule going up and down, you know, working odd hours, maybe making more money, because sometimes with Mercury retrograde in the 6th house, we're picking up extra time, extra opportunities to work late or work early or whatever. But it's kind of all over the place. So, you know, your days off may even fluctuate as well. But it's forming a square, another pressure square to Mars in that 9th house. of education and higher learning. And there may be a point where you feel like it's time to consider, for your own advancement at work or in business, that you do need to undergo some kind of extra training, or perhaps even if it's not considered ultimately convenient, you may actually be deciding it's time to take training or a promotional activity that is offered to you, but it may require you to, again, burn the midnight oil a little bit, but that opportunity will at least be there. We also have a lunar eclipse, new moon, on the 19th of the month in your 12th house. This is your past. This is your hidden zone. And this can bring up some need to consider, where we need to start letting go of some past baggage, and some past baggage that we maybe have let stay with us so long that we never thought we would get rid of it. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes we just think a hurt or a heartache or, a generational or a family issue or even some kind of personal karma is now a part of our personality. It's not. Your past is not your personality. And this moon can actually bring up some challenging feelings about how you self-identify in relation to your past. Getting over people, letting things go you don't feel you have closure with, letting financial burdens go, letting property go, things that you're attached to that you know are holding you back, that you might be speculatively thinking, I need to hold on to for a bit more. One of these things needs to be discharged, and the opportunity for that will happen over the next few months, but that window period begins on the 19th. So that's your astrology over the next 2 weeks. It looks good, especially on the love front, with a little bit of challenge, but you know what? Can't sugarcoat things, so try not to let a little bit of challenge ruin the reading. So let's move on to the cards here. What is your spiritual advice for the week of the 5th through the 11th? Well, we've got the card of bliss, so it can't be that bad, and this card always talks about a need to focus on where we can set up a home base. Where can we set up a sense of safety and security for ourselves, and where we actually need to update and upgrade our sense of home base. Okay, now what is your home base? Is it your household? Is it your office? We've got so many fluctuations challenging our sense of experience, our sense of worldly knowledge, our sense of experience, when it comes to our education. So upgrades and updates are necessary. No, I would not recommend updating a phone or a computer during a Mercury retrograde, but maybe actually rearranging our schedule during such a fluctuating time, maybe rearranging the space around ourselves. Where is our new home base? That's what we need to focus on at this point in time. If our rut's being destroyed, then we need to be setting up a new fortress. When it comes to business and work, for your first week, that 5th through the 11th week, we do have the 7 of Swords inverted. And this presents unexpected good news because this is one of my boomerang cards. This indicates something coming back to you. This could be old money coming back to you, money that you're entitled to. Maybe you've been waiting on somebody to repay a debt or a settlement. Maybe you have been wondering where the extra promise is going to be made good on by a boss or an employer. This is the time where we start to see something that you thought was lost or delayed forever returning to your space. And that is one of the positive things about having that Mercury retrograde where it is. As far as news and messages are concerned, we do have the card of the 8 of Wands upright. And this is messages coming from friends and family, the others in your life. And with the 8 of Wands, usually we see opportunities for speeding up a midterm or even long-term goal and actually bringing it to fruition faster. Now, if you have been thinking about expediting a travel plan, if you've been thinking about expediting a health routine, if you've been thinking about making something happen quicker, maybe it's a collaborative effort, somebody is already willing and able to be on the same page as you are. We're jumping from step B to step D at this point in time, but it's actually something that you could have done all along. So it's actually a nice speed up kind of energy. When it comes to love and romance, we've got the Ace of Wands upright. Both single and coupled Aries people are going to love the energy of the 5th through the 11th, and this is definitely going to be one of those times where we have much more of a passionate and amorous opportunity. Usually Ace of Wands focuses a bit more on the recreation, but this does spice up the love life quite a bit. There's an opportunity to enjoy more physical attraction and physical bonding with a new or existing sweetheart this week. And usually with the Ace of Wands upright, you can guarantee that the other person is going to be the one making the first move. So let's move on to the 12th through the 18th and what is going on that week. Well, for your spiritual advice for this week, we do have the card of Ragnarok. All right, this is about endings. This is about you initiating endings, you letting things go and letting things go permanently. This is this deck's version of the Tower card. And when we talk about destructions and final moments, we are, if you watch the astrology portion of this video, we already saw that with the eclipse. And this is talking about you learning where it's okay to burn some bridges and being safe in your own, sense of security to let go of things that we are holding out for, and moving on accordingly. Even though we might not feel like we have the adequate closure or the adequate processing time to let something go completely, when something comes to take it away, we must release it for our own good. For your finances and your work life, we have the Knight of Cups inverted. And this card can actually show up where we may have an opportunity, take it if you wish, to sort of race ahead of another person, most likely a water sign, a Cancer, Pisces, or a Scorpio, who is, I guess you could say, burning, I guess you could say, how would I put it, circling the drain. Usually with the Knight of Cups inverted, there's somebody circling the drain around us. And when we look at this card, you may feel like, oh no, this is my friend, I have to help them. And if you feel the need to help them, please do. But this is also a get-ahead opportunity. And if this is a situation that will be brought to your attention, you need to pay attention to where you need to act accordingly. The Knight of Cups inverted can also indicate a need to pay attention to where, again, when things start to fluctuate, like your schedule, that you don't let your emotions get too out of whack because you're attached to a certain routine. The routine will be continuously disrupted through the 21st, so we better get used to it. But only through the 21st. For your communications, where it comes to messages from friends and family members, we have the Four of Pentacles upright. This card can indicate you having to be confiding in somebody a secret, or somebody confiding a secret in you that can, will, and must be kept in confidence. And this could be something that's very important that you may feel like needs to be spread around. Maybe a friend or a relative is telling you something that you think they need to talk to somebody else about or talk to more people about. Or maybe you get the same treatment from somebody you're confiding in. Either way, we don't have the secret gutting loose this week, but at the same time, it's very important that when people want to open up and share, we are available. For your love life, when it comes to, romance and relationships, we've got the Seven of Pentacles upright. So the 12th through the 18th might not necessarily have the spice and the spark that the 5th through the 11th does. But we do have the Seven of Pentacles showing here that there will be a payoff at the end of this wait. A slight break does make the heart grow fonder. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have a break or a break up, but sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, we may actually be spending more time communicating or sharing feelings with a partner at a distance during this week. Phone, text, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. But again, absence does make the heart grow fonder. The nice thing about this card being upright is showing that missing each other is a mutual feeling. And again, this may bring the two of you a lot closer, not wanting to have this distance reoccur again. So that is your forecast, Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And once again, if you would like to get a session, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com.